All right, what's going on, everybody? Back at it again with yet another deck profile. This time, going for a something meta, something relevant for once. We're gonna go with good old Tri-Spright. We love Tri-Brigade. I played Tri-Brigade at my very first regionals, but I was playing with I was playing branded Tri-Brigade before Vertanicana got hit. So I have a lot of fond memories of playing Tri-Brigade. And I've always really liked Sprite. It's a really cool archetype, especially with a bunch of twos. I think it's really cool, and putting those two together, it's a pretty sick idea, pretty cool concept, but this, it's just like a little mishmash of Sprite, Tri-Brigade. It's really fun. It puts up some strong end boards, and, against the decks that I've played, it's been performing really, really well, actually. The only thing, it can be a little bit difficult to get over big monsters, stuff like that. In the side deck, I'm not going to show it again. It can use a little bit tweaking, but feel free to comment below what stuff would be really good to side. But go ahead, quit talking for a whole minute, and go ahead and get into this deck profile. Starting it off with the Sprite stuff, and do 3 blue, 3 jet, 2 red, and then 1 carrot. So the blue is, you're gonna special summon the blue, and the blue adds any Sprite name. Your jet is going to add a Sprite spell. Your red is a monster negate, and your carrot is a spell or trap negate. All these the special summoning effects are once per turn. Keep that in mind. It's gonna, the whole Sprite stuff, gigantic Sprite, I'm sorry, locks you into level 2s, well, just 2s in general, so keep that in mind. It is really good to stop stuff like Nibiru, so I really like to make gigantic Sprite before Sprint. Moving on, 3 Beaver and 2 Angler. Let's get that out of the glare. Well, that didn't do anything. So the 3 Beavers are really good. Beaver's gotten better since Gamma's gone now, so you can't really Gamma the Beaver. And even if it doesn't get Imprint or Veilered or Ash or whatever, you still have the level 2 on the board, so that's really good. Angler, you'd never want to draw into it. You're going to either send that off of the Sprint or the Foolish to summon your Beavers. Moving on to the Tri-Brigade stuff. Going to be playing 3 Kit, 3 Nerval, and then the 1 Kuraz. The only thing I would change about this is possibly bumping up the Kuraz to 2, since you're lacking the E-Tele Gamma starter. Sometimes it can be a little, you don't see the 2s that you need to see. Starter's also limited to 2, but overall this is really good try stuff. You don't need Fractal, that's just unnecessary, but this is a pretty solid engine. The only thing I'd consider again is bumping up the Kuraz to 2, and then just keeping in mind the line just goes Kit's and Nerval add Kuraz to hand, and you go off. Moving on to the hand traps, playing 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 2 Nib, and then 2 Droll, 3 Imperm. So it's a very a very heavy hand trap hand line. Sometimes a problem that I have is drawing into too many hand traps, so I might cut the Drolls, but I really like the Imperms, and a lot of people aren't really respecting the Nib. So stuff like Cash, or I played Dinos recently, stuff like that just isn't going to be respecting Nib. So Nib, Veiler's great, and Perm, again, the only thing I would consider cutting is the Droll. But, feel free to, play whatever hand traps you want. It's very flexible, at least for the hand traps. Moving on to spells. Playing 2 starter, I would play 3 if I could. The 1 Smashers, 1 Foolish to dump either Kit or the Angler, called by for hand traps, etc., and then the 1 Revolt that you search off of your Bear Brum. So that's going to be it for the main deck, I'm sorry. It's going to be it for the main deck. Again, feel free to let me know what hand traps or anything else that you think would be better for the deck. I'm just trying to bump up the consistency, because a lot of the times I do end up drawing too many hand traps and not enough starters. So if anyone has any ideas or recommendations on that, feel free to drop that below. I'm going to move on to the extra deck. So for the XEs, playing 2 gigantic Sprite, your main starter, and he is protection against Nib, so you can't summon, you or your opponent cannot summon anything that isn't a level 2, which is really good. And then once returning to the main phase, discard 1 material and then summon a level 2 from your deck. 1 Onibimaru Soul Sweeper. It's just pretty much just a banish to the opponent's next end phase. It's really good to clear the board. And then you can go into Zeus, after battling, and then have an extra like white board clear. I would consider dropping the Zeus for an IP. I really do like IP. There were certain points in the game where IP would have been beneficial over Zeus, but again, like I said, feel free to let me know. Get out of the way. Moving on to the links. Playing 2 Sprite Sprint, 2 Ferrigite, 1 Bearbrum, and then 1 Double Dragon Lords. And then rounding off the link 2's 1 early. So your sprint is going to be one of your main play starters. You summon it and it dumps. You're going to want to dump the Angler, and then Angler is going to summon your Beaver. And then the Ferrigite, Bearbrum, and the Double Dragon Lords are just for the standard Tri-Brigade plays. And then you end it off on early. And early is actually really good because anytime a monster effect is activated to a link arrow it points to, you can target a monster your opponent controls and negate its effect. So, early is really good. It comes in clutch. I do want to see if I can possibly fit an IP Masquerade, but again, like I said, feel free to let me know what you think on that. Moving on past the link 2's. I have 1 of the Desperate Doom Eagle for the Tri-Brigade stuff, 2 Shurig, and then the 1 access code to go for game. Yeah, that's going to be it for the everything that's in level 2. You don't really go into, link 2's, I'm sorry. I don't really go into the Doom Eagle, and I've seen a lot of people play 1 Shurig, but I really like Shurig at 2. If you're going for the grind game, if you're going second, etc. I really do like the second Shurig. I would not cut the second Shurig. And access code is really good, again, going for game. You do not want to go into your gigantic Sprite plays. Going second, at least I don't, because again, gigantic Sprite Lux in a 2, and if you're going to want to push for game, you're going to want to go for these big bodies to clear the board. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going over the the extra deck, the side deck, just because it's not, every locals is different. But yes, well, it might as well. I do have it here, so. My side deck, I'm sorry. It does need work. I built it very last minute. This whole deck, I'm still learning it. Like I said, feel free to let me know. I've got the 1 Pink, 1 Feather Duster, and then 2 Cyclones. So it's going to be for like spell trap removal, monster removal. Pink is really good at 1. If I could play it more, I would. And then Cosmic and Harpies is for stuff like Labyrinth or anything like that. It's just really good for back row removal. Got 2 Dark Rulers, 2 Evenlies for like board breakers, stuff like that. Evenlies, really good. No one's really putting up any Omni Negates, and the Dark Ruler just gonna negate stuff like a Rise Heart, because anything that kills the graveyard, like Abyss Dweller or Rise Heart, anything that interacts or negates graveyard effects or banishes is gonna absolutely kill this deck. And moving on to some Floodgates. 3 Anti-Spell, just because I don't like my opponent playing the game. 2 Summon Limits after I set up my huge board, and then 2 D-Barriers. The D-Barriers are mostly for like the Pearlies, or the Melfies, whatever they're called. Yeah, Pearlies. To lock them out of the Xyz, or branded for fusions. There's some tier limits. I've been seeing some tier limits running around again, calling fusions. Summon limits, same thing. Just to negate excessive summons. Worked really good against stuff like Dino or Cash that I played. And then Anti-Spell is just a really nice blowout card. A lot of the times people, if they're going second, they're going to side in stuff like Dark Ruler or Harpy, stuff like that. And if you play the Anti-Spell, that locks them out of a whole whole card of the game. So like I said, if you're to let me know, it's not the best side deck, but I would love any kind of recommendations or cards to play. Pretty much on the whole deck, if you have any ideas, let me know. Again, still working on those live duels, but it can be a little hectic with school and work. But feel free to comment below. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you think. That's gonna be it for me, guys. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.